Oh,
Devin Williams,
oh my.
Williams. Devin Williams. If you're in the building, come to A101.
Okay. Was not expecting the announcement. Sorry. Go ahead, open Photoshop and Illustrator here. I'm going to show you how to create an artboard in both. Where did Photoshop go? Perfect. So if you forget, you need to open up the Rainbow app on your desktop. It should be over here on the left side of your screen. Kind of looks like this guy here. Double click on that and it should open up a page that looks like this. Make sure they're up to date. If they're not, you can click update available and then it will start updating. If they're up to date, go ahead and open both of them. Okay. In Photoshop here, I can show you how to make an artboard, and then I'll flip over to Illustrator and show you how to make an artboard. The artboard is basically like the piece of paper on our screen that we are working on. So we need to start with new file, this big blue button over here to the top left. Click on that. We're always going to be making prints in here. Okay. If you ever continue on and you need to make something else, these are pretty self-explanatory. If you need to make a web page, something mobile, film or video will be more of that landscape format. Photo, if you're working in photos. This is good too for illustrations, but we're going to be working with a print. So click on that. There's some presets in here. We're not going to use any of them. We're going to make a custom one over here. So always title it. If you forget to title it, we can do it again right before we save, but it's better to do it here and now. So always start with your initials, first and last name, and then whatever the name of the project is, or if you have a personal title for that project. You need to be working in inches, okay? None of these other things here, just inches. Always ask me what the height and width you need is for the project. It will change because we will print on different sizes. You can type in just about anything here, but I will always give you some sort of custom height or setting that you need. Okay, so double check with me what that is. For the first project, it's 8.5 by 11. We're working rather small. Decide the orientation that you need to work with. Usually I'm going to tell you to look at your sketch. Which way did you turn that page? Is it portrait where it's long going upwards, or is it landscape where it's long kind of on that horizontal line sideways there? Leave artboards unchecked here. Resolution, we want to be 360 because we're extra. Pixels per inch here. RGB color. We're going to leave it on 8-bit. What this means is just color quality. So if you're working in vectors or something where you're breaking down the colors, this is what this means. 8-bit is good for what we're doing. Background color, you can physically change it here. The screen will pull up where you can pick whatever color you need. Usually people will work in white or transparent here. Either one is fine, or if you want to use black, that's fine too. Working RGB for the color profile, and then pixel aspect ratio here will be square pixels. Once you have this set up like this, maybe with a different background color and different height and width depending on the project here, you can hit create. Should pop up here with an artboard. I'm going to show you how to do that on Illustrator really quick. It's pretty similar, so we'll go back up to this blue button that says new file. Go to print. That's what we're making. They have presets here, but we want to make a custom one. Again, initials, title it whatever project you need to title it for. Make sure it's in inches, not points. Check with me the height and width you need. Choose what orientation works best for you here. Change the amount of artboards almost always for this class we'll be working with one. This is just how many pieces of paper will kind of pop up on your screen. We usually just need one. Unless you're working, if you want to open up a second one and like draw something on it, then you could copy and paste it and move it over. But usually just one here. Leave these guys alone. We want to change our color mode to RGB. Don't worry about this little warning symbol. It's telling you that the printer is CMYK. You want our raster effects to be high, 300 pixels per inch. And you can leave the preview mode on default here. You can go ahead and hit create. Let it load. Here's our piece of paper. Okay. Saving versus exporting. When you get ready to save or export, you're always going to go up into File here. We have Save As, and we also have Export, which pops up as Export As. What is the difference? Saving as is saving it to continue working on it, okay? Exporting is when you're finally finished. So if you want to keep working, let's say we're in Illustrator here, and you need to save what you're working on, you're going to go to Save As. Put it in your digital design folder. I'm going to go to my OneDrive, or maybe it's in your student drive. Get it in that digital design folder. If you need to put it in whichever project folder, click there. Keep it as either the Photoshop, if you're working in Photoshop, or if you're in Illustrator, keep it the Illustrator file. This allows you to go back and continue working on it. Do not change it to JPEG, okay? Doesn't even give me the option in here. If I were to export it as a JPEG, not finished, it freezes it as that image, and then I cannot go back and change it, okay? So if you're not done working on something, you want to save as, okay? Once you save it one time, you should be able to go back every time you keep working and just hit save, and it will save it where you've left off. When you're done, we'll go to export. This is when you're finally finished. Export as. Save it again to your digital design folder. It's going to be titled down here. If you forgot to title it, go ahead and title it. Save it into your folder if you need to. Change the save as type to JPEG, okay? This means it's a photo. That means we're finally finished, and then you'll hit export. So save as, continue working. Export means you're done. It's the same in Photoshop here. So when you're still working, we go to save as. Sometimes this guy will pop up. Just always hit on your computer. It should stop popping up after you've saved. If it keeps popping up, just hit on your computer. We're always saving on our computer here. Make sure you put it into your digital design folder, okay? Keep it as the Photoshop or Illustrator file, so that way you can continue working on it. No JPEG, not done, and you would save it. When you're finally finished, you export. Go to export, export as. Make sure this guy here says JPEG, quality bar up. Then you'll hit export. Put it in that folder. Make sure it says JPEG as the save as type, and then hit save. And then you have it as the JPEG. Okay. So setting up the artboards are pretty similar with a few tweaks. We're always going to go to print and then make custom adjustments. We're working in inches. Okay. Check with me for the certain size. You save as if you're not done and you need to continue working, and you export when you're finally finished. Let me know if you have questions. Hopefully this was helpful.